I wanted to talk to you guys tonight about conference, okay? We do two conferences a year if you're new. We have one coming up the last weekend of April in Phoenix, which is always a great time to be in Phoenix. And conference is really, really important for you to go to so that you know what you're attached to. And the only reason that I'm here today is because of conference. And I'm going to tell you guys my long story of how I got started with Juice Plus, so you can kind of see a little bit of vision and the importance of conference. So when I first heard about Juice Plus, I was the most skeptical person on this planet. I don't think I've ever met anybody that was more skeptical than me. It took somebody almost a year to get me even to look at what Juice Plus was. And when I found out that it was just food, I knew that I wasn't eating enough, and therefore I knew my kids weren't eating enough. But honestly, what happened is I ended up ordering Juice Plus through the Children's Health Study for the kids. And Richard and I's came by default. And I signed up as a distributor because I had done 7 other direct sales companies. Okay, 7 others. And the last thing that I wanted was to do another rah, get rich quick thing where I had to feel like I was being pushy with my friends. And so because I understood the concept of direct sales and how it usually was more affordable to be able to just go ahead and sign up on the team, I did, because it was $50, and I figured out I was going to save at least $10 over that for just my order, and I had Richard's order too. What happened was I found out that I loved the product. My kids had amazing health results, stopped going to the doctor, stopped being on antibiotics. I was recovering from 3 knee surgeries, and I was back on my bike faster and better than I had ever been before. And all of my girlfriends were saying to me, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know. The only thing I changed was this Juice Plus stuff." And they said, "Well, how do I get it?" And I said, "Well, I guess from me." And I would take their order on the back of the tailgate when we loaded up our bikes. And I did 2 in-home events just as a kickoff for the cycling season. And Jennifer Myers came down and did a wellness talk, that was sports oriented. And we had a little party, and I think I had 30 people sign up. And Ellen Lewis joined me as well on my team. And we also did together a little brunch for our moms, because our kids were in the same classes. Well, we rode our bikes and we shared Juice Plus. That's all we did. Never intended to do anything with this. And about 8 months later, I think my check was around $800 a month, and I panicked because I had forgotten about the research. I'd forgotten it was food. I had forgotten all the reasons that the kids were getting it for free, why we were taking it. And I thought, oh my gosh, what if it's one of those things, right? Because we had some bad experiences before in some other companies. And we had gone to one conference that I had worked with this company for 5 years. Somebody's got some background noise, so if you do, go ahead and mute. So Richard and I had worked, actually, and I'm going to tell you, it was the Big A, okay, that company, Anybody know what that is? Amway. Yeah, so we had worked Amway, but I had never gone to the conference, and it was the conference that made me decide that that was not my cup of tea, because it was a big bunch of rah-rah, and it went way late into the night. It was supposed to end earlier, and it was terrible. For us, it was terrible. For some people, I'm sure it was great, but I was like, do not want any part of anything like that again. But I panicked, and I thought, I'm going to go to this conference, which was in Phoenix. Okay, so this was 14 years ago that I went to my first conference. I signed up 15 years ago. March 1st will be my 15th year. And I told Ellen, hey, let's go to this conference. It's really cold and snowy here in Colorado, and you and I will go down there. I'm going to tell you, because I've done this before. It's going to be a bunch of rah-rah, stuff. And when that happens, we're going to leave, and we're going to go lay out in the sun on the roof of the hotel. I already checked it out. I know there is one. We're going to drink margaritas, put it on the room tap, and our husbands will get stuck at home for 3 days with the kids. We never left our husbands with the kids before. So she's like, count me in, and off we went. And I went to that first day intending to leave, you guys. I thought, I just know it's going to be just like all the other ones. And I walked out of that morning session, and I had my cell phone on my hip. Richard called, and he said, did they sing songs and hold hands? And I said, oh my gosh, no. I have to tell people about Juice Plus because I had just gotten to hear from Dr. Du Bois, the leading infectious disease doctor in the world at the time, Dr. Sears, leading pediatrician, the guy that invented gastric bypass surgery, spoke, who won't even operate on you unless you've been on Juice Plus for 3 months prior and agree to be on it for life. There was a mental health practitioner who said, gosh, if you have good nutrition, you feel better, therefore you act better. And then Dr. Tolzer, who is the only doctor to this day that has performed open heart surgery on a fetus in the womb. And he also does robotic surgery in other countries from Austria. He's like amazing. He's like the best pediatric cardiovascular surgeon in the world. He spoke, and I just thought, oh my gosh, my hair stood up on my arms, and I turned around to Ellen and I said, I'm going to be a national marketing director within 2 years. And she said, I'm right behind you. And I just came home and I just thought, you know what? Everybody needs to hear about Juice Plus. The reason why I'm telling you guys this is because if I hadn't gone to that conference, not one of you would be on this call with me today. We have thousands of people around the world that are now enjoying Juice Plus and the benefits of that because of all of the people that I shared with, that Ellen shared with. Ellen shared with Ellen Graham. Ellen Graham's Touch People. I shared with, other people who shared with other people who shared with other people that are on this call. So, for you to know what you are attached to and to see the opportunity and what the heartbeat of this company is, I think is really vital for you to be able to be effective at sharing Juice Plus and for you to be able to paint vision for other people so that they too can affect thousands of people, and that's why we're here. So I really want to encourage you guys to come to conference. Come to conference. Come in on Wednesday night. You'll have all your breakout sessions on Thursday.
Yes.
Thursday night we have the 90-day game plan party. On Friday, we have session all day, and then Friday night is our team get-together, which is going to be really fun. And then Saturday, the session ends between 1 and 2. So if you need to fly home on Saturday, I know some of you do, I know Sandra, you do, make sure your flight's not till like 4 or 5 o'clock at the earliest. And then Saturday night, if you're going to stay, which I encourage you to stay, Juice Plus hosts a party, which is really fun. And last year we got to, I think Mel and Garrett and Richard and I and Missy and Jim and Audra closed it down because Audra was doing karaoke. It's a good time. So anyway, I'd love to answer any questions, and I'd love for maybe some of you like Patty and Mel and Ellen, some of you guys that have Missy, some of you guys have been, what has conference meant to you, and why should somebody go? Who would like to share?
I'll start. So we've been representatives now for 14 years, but we did not start going to conference until probably, our first one was Phoenix too, but it was not right at 14 years ago. So it was probably like 2 or 3 years after, which I regret deeply, knowing what we know now, right? And, but what we learned was, first of all, we got to meet Reagan, and we got to meet Ellen Graham, and so many of you who were there, and got to understand the heart of the company. That's what, you don't get when you're sitting at home. I mean, you can certainly listen to YouTubes and videos and Voxers and all that great stuff, but you don't get the heart of the company unless you're actually there. We got to meet leadership. We got to know John Blair, who's vice president of the company. We got to meet Jay Martin, and they actually came and played golf at our country club because we got to meet them and know them. And you just don't know what you don't know until you get yourself educated and you start becoming a part of the fabric of the company. And I think that is so important. And like Reagan said so beautifully, I mean, it just changes everything. It changes everything. And yes, it is an expense, but I've always had a belief that you sometimes have to spend money to make money. And when you listen to speeches about people who, they're not rah-rah speeches, they're people about who have made a national marketing director like Reagan and Ellen have, and their journey and what it meant to them and their family, whether it was health oriented or finance oriented or to their team and to other people. I mean, that's something that you can't even when we try to bring it home to people, like on this Zoom, right, Reagan? And we sit there and say, okay, here's the recap of the conference. There isn't any way we can bring it home. So there's only one way to get it, and that's to be there. Bobby, you have anything to say?
Absolutely, and we're looking to see Mel crossing the stage here very shortly, and there's a few other people there that are right in line, and we're really excited for Phoenix.
Yeah. Who else?
I'll
Missy.
jump in. Oh, go for it, Missy.
Oh, sorry. Oh, and then we'll go Garrett. Missy, then Garrett.
There. You know, for me, it was so important that first time because I was still, you know, I kind of liked that I was eating Juice Plus, and I had a few, you know, family on it, and I'd gotten a couple of customers, but I still wasn't sure I believed in it. And getting to conference that first time and hearing the people on stage talk about everything about it, so that you went, for me, it was like, oh, wow, this is the real thing. This isn't some scam. This isn't some fly-by-night. I'm not just suckering into something and going, yeah, it's kind of nice. I was so wowed by those people on stage. And like Patty said, some of them were doctors, some of them were, you know, you heard the president of the company. When do you ever hear the president of the company? Who's telling jokes, by the way, so that you're laughing the whole time he's talking. Just you see all these people, and you hear then, especially for me, some of the professionals who could speak to what Juice Plus truly is. You know, they could talk about how it was made, how it's put together, why there's nothing else out there like it, why just everything about it, that even though, like Patty said, you see it in some videos and you learn about it, it's not until you see those people truly talk about it and give you information, and then you can end up asking questions of some of them, not all of them because it's a busy time, but it is an amazing way to become truly connected to what you have in these little pills of all kinds, in these little capsules. It's an amazing thing. So conferences is what you need to do.
Absolutely. Garrett.
So I totally agree with what everybody said. Two things. To me, conference is like, it's like we're on a toy track, and there's like these wheels that kick as cars, we get zoomed around, right? As you're coming back around, you kind of slow down a bit, and then you hit it again. And it's amazing. It's like freaking rocket fuel, right? And I think as I get as much out of it, it's awesome to see the people on stage and the education, and that's great. And at some point, I mean, you can always get it, and you learn something. What I think is amazing, or what I would challenge anybody, is where else do you get to go into a room with 5, 6, 7,000 people? Forget the people on stage, but the people sitting next to you today that are so positive, so optimistic, going through the same things that all of us are in our business, but like have the biggest smile, are so friendly. Forget everything else. To me, I just don't know where else you get it. You don't get it from the news. You don't get it from TV. You don't get it from, at your gym. It's just an amazing thing to be around that many people that are like so aligned and vested in one thing that's good. It's just like, that's the best part. Like forget all the other stuff. The smile that you walk out of and just the warmth that you feel is amazing.
Absolutely. And I found that by the time conference rolls around, I'm kind of tired of everybody's excuses as to why they won't take their Juice Plus. And I feel a little tuckered out, and I go to conference and I feel like somebody just fills me all the way back up so I can come and just pour it back out for the next 6 months, and I can tell, then in the next 6 months, right before conference, I need that conference. So, if you don't go to conference, you end up getting behind. And, like I said, you have the opportunity to touch so many lives if you can keep yourself fueled. And it's important that we do that. The other thing is, sometimes people will say, well, it seems like it's an expense. Well, guess what? Doctors don't become doctors until they go to school. You're not going to become, they don't become MDs. You don't become an NMD until you go to school. And so you've got to invest, you know, back into your business, and you're really investing into yourself. And I don't know how you're going to learn all of that if you don't come. You're kind of running on 3 wheels instead of 4, you know, not that you can't make a difference, you can, but how do you paint vision for somebody when you don't even know, you haven't been, right? So.
Hey, Reagan.
Yeah.
This is Vicki, and I would just like to give maybe one little value that I really found. I totally want to build on what Garrett said, in being in the company of so many like-minded people. And I have gone to conference each time. And one of the hardest times that I ever went to conference was in one of those 6 months period where things had been moving along so great and I was feeling good. And I had a couple people drop off for a number of reasons. And I was beginning to kind of doubt where I was coming from. And I went to conference and I came home with such a renewed confidence in what our mission was, because when you sit in the audience and you're in that many people and you know that there are going to be little dips and swings in your business, had I not gone and sat there feeling less productive, I don't know that I would have been able to bounce back as quickly as I did with the commitment and the reassurance just from the coaching, the speakers, and the like community of people that you're able to draw strength from.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vicki. Ellen, Mel, Sue, you guys want to say anything?
Yeah, definitely. I love so many ways that you all described and articulated your experiences, especially Missy talking about connecting to the information. So where I come in on the journey kind of at the end of Reagan's story is she made NMD a couple of years later at the Phoenix conference, right?
Right.
So that was in the spring, and it was that summer that I...
Your income, exactly. You're right. I forgot to add that.
Yeah.
And then it was a couple years later that you were there.
Yes. So that summer I joined the team, but you know, I definitely had some desire because I was looking for things to do on the side as a mom. I was teachable because I was doing my in-home events, and I had a good work ethic. I've always had that, but I did not get conference, and I actually didn't go until the following fall. And I went to Memphis, and it was really the magic of connecting just in a very visceral way almost to the information, the community, the research for sure, because that was what really hooked me as in terms of becoming a distributor. It was like, I'm on Dr. Sears' website all the time. He's talking about Juice Plus on his website. And Dr. Du Bois, I was like, no one's ever talked about the immune system like this, at least in my ears. So I was really excited about that. But the other piece that really happens, I think, is the chemistry of, and Garrett touched on this, of meeting other people that are doing what we're doing. And those sideline relationships, I believe, are so critical to your journey. And it might be somebody that you meet in line at the bathroom and you exchange cards. It may be somebody on this team that you sit next to at a team dinner and really get to know and connect with. But you need those connections, and absolutely what Reagan said, you've got to invest in yourself. And I'm so thankful she taught me that early on. You know, it's like, you guys know, if you put, you know, a couple $100s a month in savings away every single month, that over time, that's going to compound, right? It doesn't see a couple $100, who cares, right? But over time that grows. And it's the same thing when you're going to conference, you're going to Juice Plus events. Your confidence is compounding over time. And that confidence is what helps people, I think, so many times say yes, because they trust you and they get that vibe that you're giving off of, like, this is awesome. I have my hands on fruits and vegetables in a capsule.
Right. Awesome.
I kind of went on a tangent. Sorry.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, you did.
Preach it.
Yeah. Wave that flag.
What about you, Sue?
I was just going to say, Ellen put it all so eloquently. I don't really know if I have that much more to say, except that my journey with Juice Plus started 10 years ago as well. And Reagan had said to me, now, Sue, if you're going to move forward in the business, you have to come to conference. And I said, okay. So I hopped on a plane and went out, and she was always just guiding me, leading me along, helping, give me a little push here and there. And she said, oh, by the way, because I was alone the first time I went, she said, we'll have seats up in the front. We're not supposed to save seats, but we're going to have some seats near the front. Okay. So I got to sit with Reagan and the rest of the team, and we had our team. I think the team dinners, too, really do a wonderful job of bringing us all together. And it gives you an opportunity to talk with other like-minded people on our team, which is really fun. And I have to tell you guys, if you want to have a good laugh, I have met Wendy Campbell, Dr. Mitra Ray, Catherine Lee. I'm thinking of a lot of the other ladies in the line to go to the restroom. Oh yeah, I'm in line, and we just start chatting or visiting, and all of a sudden I have new friends on Facebook, etc., all from chatting in line, which is what Ellen said. So I have to encourage everybody, don't miss conference. Conference is a must go to. I learn every time I go. And I think it's really important to keep, as Reagan had mentioned, keep filling yourself up. Sometimes, as Vicki said also, you get stomped on here and there. We all do. But it just helps to boost your morale, your courage, and your confidence all over again at seeing all those like-minded people. So go to conference, enjoy, have a good time.
And remembering why you're doing it, right?
Yes, well, that too.
I mean, it's always a good reminder, and you kind of go, gosh, you hear some of these NMD speeches and you go, they've had such a hard life. Like, if they can do it, I can do it, you know? I mean, it's motivating and amazing. So, how about you, Mel?
Yeah, a couple of things. I mean, I think everything here that everybody said has been awesome, and all reasons that we need to go to conference. For me, conference actually taught me how to dream again. I didn't know that I wasn't dreaming, but I mean, that was the number one thing in the very beginning for me. I was like, I didn't know how to dream, like how to think past my crazy life with my boys, and how I was going to fit one more thing in, and how I was going to, you know, I guess, you know, just dream bigger than I had been dreaming. And then also for this to be a viable way to get those dreams, and to see people achieving their dreams and their goals that I had forgot about for so many years. And so it just invigorated me in that way to dream. And then also, you know, I always say, I feel like, you know, conference, especially for somebody new, we can teach you in 3 days what would take us like a year to teach you. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so like, you might as well just invest and, you know, be away from your family and concentrate for a very short amount of time what would take us forever, you know, to teach you. So, and then the other thing is like, dude, it's so much fun to celebrate together as a team. I just love that piece of it. It's really fun. And I think so oftentimes we forget as we're going through our day-to-day lives as far as to celebrate the little wins that we've had. And actually between 6 months, there's actually a lot of wins to celebrate. So I love that we get to do that together and love each other and hug each other. I mean, we get to do this virtually, but we actually get to squeeze each other's necks. And I love that piece of it when we actually are all in the same room and celebrate and have fun together. So
absolutely, that's the best. That is the best. That's the cream on top. Cherry on top. So
and one more thing I just want to add, Reagan, is this one sitting on my lap went to 2 conferences, and there's 2 moms on tonight with babies, and I just want to say, don't let that hold you back. Take your babies to conference, and then when they start walking, leave them at home.
That's right. And they do have a cry room.
They do.
Just like church.
Cry room.
They do. They have a cry room with a big video where you can see everything if your kids are being fussy or whatever. So, and you've got lots of people that want to hold the babies. Okay, one last thing, and then I'll let you guys go. So, if you know that national marketing directors average $100,000 and up, if you went to conference and it shortened your journey there, and you got there a couple of years faster because you started going to conferences, would you go? Right? Is it really going to cost you anything? No, because it's going to shorten that window for you to get up into those higher income levels, as long as you come home and take that information and go out and use it, which you will. So anyway, come play with us. Sign up for our team dinner. It's the pin post in our Facebook group, Team Healthy Bodies USA Facebook group. And we will hope to see you guys there. So does anybody have any questions about conference before we go? At all? Okay, you guys are all set on kind of when to come in Wednesday, go home on Sunday morning, so you can play with us. Okay, awesome. All right, well, you guys have a beautiful week, and we will catch you guys in Boxer this week.
Bye, everybody. Awesome.